What's good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is Mark coming back at y'all again. And today what I want to talk about is Rachelle Ferrell. And what made me want to talk about Rachelle Ferrell today was that I saw a video that Ilovearethafranklin did about a couple of nights ago. This person did a vocal range video of Rachelle Ferrell, and I was just very fascinated with her voice. Like, I I just want to say that Rachelle Ferrell is such an incredible singer. Like, her voice is very versatile. She could go from very low to high. And not to mention, I just love how she just plays around with her voice like it's a toy. Like she just be experimenting with all areas in her voice and all that stuff, and that's what I really love about her. And by the way, I recommend y'all checking out I Love Aretha Franklin's channel. For those of you who don't know, I Love Aretha Franklin does videos on basically vocal range videos on singers such as Patti LaBelle and Aretha Franklin, of course, and Tina Turner and Sam Cooke. So I recommend y'all checking this person's channel because this person makes very good videos. To me, of course. I don't know about y'all. Like some of y'all may be into music, some of y'all maybe not. So, but I'm gonna still leave the name down in the description box below just for y'all to check out this person's channel because this person makes very good videos. But anyhow, now that I got all that stuff out the way, I'ma just do a vocal analysis on Rachelle Ferrell today. And you know, when I'm gonna do this analysis, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about her voice type and what I think her voice type is and the pros and cons of her voice and her technique and all that stuff. And mind you, I'm not a vocal coach. Like I'm not a professional. I'm not a trained professional of any kind. Like I'm just going by my ears and what I hear and what I think. So, with that being said, I'm just gonna get right into it. I think that Rachelle Ferrell is a lyric mezzo soprano, and the reason why I think she's the lyric mezzo soprano is because I think she holds a lot of weight in her mid register, and her voice is not very metallic, and it's not very, it don't have no edge to it whatsoever. Like her voice is it's still kind of light and warm, especially in her upper belt and all that stuff. Okay, now I said that she was a lyric mezzo soprano. Now solo, she would be identified as a lyric mezzo soprano to me. Now, if she was in a choir, I would have to place her as first alto or alto one because I know her voice is very alto-ish. She don't sound like a soprano to me whatsoever. Some people say that Rachelle is a contralto, but I don't think so because her voice is not very androgynous. And for those of you who don't know what a contralto is, contralto is the lowest female voice, and they have a very masculine sound, an androgynous sound. And I don't hear that in Rachelle Ferrell's voice whatsoever, except in her low notes, which I'm gonna get to in a second. So, I talked about her voice type. Now I'm just talking about her technique. The pros and cons of her voice. Okay. Some of her low notes like G2, B flat 2, C3, and E3, they're very full and resonant. Especially the G2, like her G2 note is it has a very masculine sound to it, because it has a lot of depth to it, if that makes any sense. And some of her other low notes like G sharp 2, A2, B2, C sharp 3, D3, and E flat 3, like all of those notes they sound very airy and breathy to me. And the notes that I've mentioned above or that I've mentioned before, like they sound very um full and resonant, like you could hear it clearly. Now with her belting, and this is her belting range by the way, from G sharp 4 to C5, that's when she holds a lot of weight in her mid register and they're very full and resonant. Whereas from C sharp 5 to E6, that's when she starts to lose her resonance and it don't really have a lot of weight to it, as opposed to the notes that I've mentioned above, which is G sharp 4 and the C5. And Now, although she wouldn't have a lot of weight or resonance in her upper register, like she still will have a lot of control over it, except for notes. Okay, let me just put it this way: from C sharp 5 to a G sharp 5, that's when she have a lot of control and support over her voice. However, from A5 to E6, that's when she mostly lose control over her voice. And especially from A5 to C sharp 6. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but when I saw that video that Ilovearethafranklin did a couple of days ago, um, the E6 didn't really sound like a belt to me. Like it sounded more like a high head voice, or her falsetto, high falsetto, or her low whistle. But that's what it sounds like to me. But anyhow, from A5 to E6, that's when she starts to lose control of her voice. When she's belted. And now from her head voice, okay, from D6 to E6, or from E flat 6, she don't really have a lot of control over it. Like she don't really have a lot of support over her head voice. And um okay, in her whistle register, and now I don't know if it's just me, but her whistle register sounds very screechy to me. Like her whistles don't really sound like a Minnie Riperton's or Mariah Carey. Like they sound very screechy, at least to me, of course. And especially from A6 to F7, her whistle register. Not to mention, she don't really have a lot of control in her whistle register either. Although in her last, on one of her notes, on her whistle notes, and this is a D7 by the way, that's the only time when she actually will have control over it, on that particular note. And that's basically it for her vocal analysis. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And by the way, I want to point out a few other things about Rachelle Ferrell. The only thing I don't like about her voice or what she does when she sings is that I know she has a tendency to move her jaw a lot when she sings. You know how Whitney Houston did back in her prime, like how she would move her jaw around a lot, just to create the vibrato. That's what Rachelle Ferrell would do. And not to mention, I think that Rachelle Ferrell would open her mouth up too wide, and you're not supposed to do that. You know, you're not supposed to open your mouth up real wide when you sing and move your jaw around a lot because from what I heard, that kind of technique is very unhealthy and it's not supposed to be good for you. And by the way, in Rochelle's lower to mid register, sometimes she have a tendency to have some similarities to Anita Baker. A lot of vocal similarities to Anita Baker at times because in her lower to mid register. And by the way, she looks a lot like Whoopi Goldberg at times, especially with the locks in her hair. And not to mention, I think that Rachelle Ferrell is better singing live than she does in the studio because not because when she sings live, she gets to showcase more of her range, whereas in the studio, I think she tends. It sounds like she will hold back a little bit in the studio. But I prefer Rachelle Ferrell's live singing over her studio singing any day because she's better live singing anyway. But and that's all I got for y'all today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and you could follow me on my Twitter at 504 Mark Anthony. And you can also catch me on Periscope at 504 Mark Anthony as well. And in the meantime, I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.